What lies beneath the tranquil surface of the Euphrates River, striking terror into the hearts of humanity? Is there a chilling truth lurking beneath these waters? In this video, we will dive into this enigma that has sent shockwaves worldwide and uncover the terrifying secrets hidden beneath the Euphrates. The Euphrates River, once a lifeline for the people of Syria and Iraq, is now facing an unprecedented environmental crisis. Its waters are receding at an alarming rate, leaving behind parched lands and communities struggling to cope. The river, which has been a source of sustenance for generations, is dwindling, and the consequences are dire. In recent years, the Euphrates River has experienced a dramatic reduction in its water levels. The once mighty river, which flowed abundantly through the region, has now transformed into a mere trickle in some areas. This depletion is primarily attributed to a combination of factors, including climate change, increased temperatures, and upstream water management practices in neighboring countries like Turkey and Syria. The consequences of the Euphrates' decline are profound and far-reaching. Communities that once relied on the river for agriculture find themselves in the midst of a food crisis. Wheat production has plummeted, with some regions anticipating a staggering 70% reduction due to the lack of water for crop cultivation. As a result, food scarcity and hunger have become pervasive issues, affecting millions of people. The drying of the Euphrates has led to severe shortages of drinking water. Local farmers and families are facing the grim reality of not having enough water to meet their basic needs. This dire situation has also disrupted electricity production, as dams along the river struggle to generate power with diminishing water reserves. As a result, essential infrastructure, including healthcare facilities, suffers, further compounding the region's challenges. How will the staggering 70% reduction in wheat production due to the Euphrates River's dwindling water levels impact food security in Iraq? The Euphrates River's dwindling water levels in Iraq's nine-wheeled governorate have unleashed a devastating blow to the region's agricultural sector. Wheat, a staple crop in this fertile region, is facing a catastrophic decline in production. Experts and farmers alike anticipate a jaw-dropping 70% reduction in wheat yields, primarily attributable to the acute shortage of water needed for crop cultivation. Wheat has been a vital source of sustenance for Iraqis for generations, and its cultivation has traditionally thrived in the fertile soils nurtured by the Euphrates. However, the rapid decrease in water availability has disrupted this delicate balance. Farmers who have relied on the crop's water for irrigation now find themselves grappling with arid fields incapable of supporting their crops. The consequences of this sharp decline in wheat production are multifaceted. First and foremost, there is the imminent threat of food scarcity. Wheat is a staple grain, forming the basis of varied bread and cereal products that are fundamental to the Iraqi diet. As production plummets, there is a very real risk of a food crisis that could affect millions of people. The environmental crisis caused by the Euphrates' diminishing water extends its reach to the Kurdistan region of Iraq. Here, the land is gradually succumbing to the relentless drying process. Month by month, the soil becomes less hospitable to agriculture, affecting not only wheat, but also other vital crops and livelihoods. In Kurdistan, which has a distinct agricultural landscape and relies heavily on farming, the impact of this gradual drying of the land is significant. Farmers race an uncertain future as the arable land they depend on loses its fertility. This not only threatens food security, but also the economic stability of the region, as agriculture plays a pivotal role in its economy. The intersection of climate change and water scarcity along the Euphrates River presents a troubling reality for the region's inhabitants. One of the key drivers of this crisis is a significant alteration in precipitation patterns, characterized by low rainfall levels coupled with rising temperatures. These climatic shifts have created a dire imbalance in the region's water resources. Historically, the Euphrates River relied on a delicate balance of seasonal rainfall to maintain its flow. However, climate change has disrupted this equilibrium. With temperatures on the rise, evaporation rates have intensified, causing the river's water levels to decline rapidly. As a result, the region faces a profound water scarcity, affecting not only agricultural practices, but also the availability of drinking water for local communities. The repercussions of this water scarcity extend beyond immediate thirst. Agriculture, which relies heavily on irrigation, is severely compromised. Farmers struggle to sustain their crops, leading to reduced yields and food insecurity. Furthermore, as water becomes scarcer, competition for this vital resource intensifies, potentially fueling tensions among communities and nations. The diminishing water levels in the Euphrates River have far-reaching consequences that extend into the realm of infrastructure and power generation. The dams strategically placed along the river, which once harnessed its flow to generate electricity, are now grappling with a dwindling water supply. As these dams run out of water, the production of electricity is hampered. This disruption in power supply has ripple effects throughout the region. Hospitals, essential for healthcare delivery, struggle to function optimally without a stable power supply. Infrastructure development projects are hindered, impeding progress in areas such as transportation and communication. What will the impact be on the over 5 million people in Syria who rely on the Euphrates River for their livelihoods as its water becomes scarcer? The Euphrates River holds a profound significance in Syria, where over 5 million people depend on its waters for their livelihoods and daily needs. It has been a vital source of water for centuries, sustaining communities, agriculture, and industries throughout the region. This dependency extends to both urban and rural areas, where access to clean water is essential for drinking, sanitation, and irrigation. In rural Syria, the river plays a critical role in supporting agricultural activities, enabling farmers to cultivate crops and sustain their families. Communities along the riverbanks rely on the Euphrates for irrigation, making it possible to grow a variety of crops, including wheat and barley, which are staples in the Syrian diet. In urban centers like Aleppo and Raqqa, the Euphrates River has historically been a primary source of drinking water, catering to the needs of millions of residents. The availability of clean and accessible water is fundamental to the well-being of these communities, supporting not only daily life, but also local industries and businesses. In neighboring Iraq, the Euphrates River plays an equally pivotal role in sustaining human life and livelihoods. A staggering 7 million people in Iraq depend on the river for their water supply, agriculture, and industrial needs. It is a lifeline for both urban and rural populations. In urban areas like Baghdad, the Euphrates provides a significant portion of the city's drinking water. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers are central to the country's water infrastructure, ensuring that millions have access to clean and safe drinking water. This access is indispensable for maintaining public health and supporting the daily routines of Iraqis. In the countryside, where agriculture is a primary occupation, the Euphrates River's waters are the lifeblood of the region. Farmers rely on it for irrigation, enabling them to cultivate crops such as rice, dates, and vegetables. The river's flow sustains not only individual families, but also contributes significantly to the nation's food production and economy. The drying of the Euphrates River has sparked theological speculations and interpretations, drawing connections between the environmental crisis and biblical narratives. The intriguing facet of the crisis has led to discussions and debates among various religious communities and scholars. Many individuals and religious groups have speculated about a potential biblical connection to the alarming state of the Euphrates River. The idea revolves around belief that the drying of the river could be a fulfillment of biblical prophecies, specifically those mentioned in the book of Revelation. In Revelation 16:12, it is written, "The sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings of the east." Some interpret this verse as a sign of end times events. Do the theological interpretations regarding the Euphrates River crisis, connecting it to biblical narratives and fallen angels, hold a broader spiritual significance? The theological interpretations surrounding the Euphrates River crisis delve deeper into the realm of biblical narratives involving fallen angels and apocalyptic prophecies. It is suggested that the drying of the Euphrates River may be linked to the imprisonment of 4 fallen angels mentioned in Revelation 9:14 and 15, which reads, "Release the 4 angels who are bound at the great river Euphrates." And the 4 angels who had been kept ready for this very hour and day and month and year were released to kill 1/3 of mankind. In some interpretations, the unusual weather patterns and natural phenomena, such as the drying of the river, are seen as signs of a larger spiritual struggle playing out in the world. The idea is that the Euphrates River serves as a symbolic battleground where forces of good and evil are contending, and the impact on the physical world reflects this cosmic conflict. These theological interpretations raise intriguing questions about the role of environmental changes in religious beliefs. They highlight how natural events can be perceived through a spiritual lens, inviting contemplation on the relationship between faith and the environment. However, it's important to note that these interpretations are subjective and may vary significantly among different religious traditions and scholars. The Tigris and Euphrates rivers, often referred to as the cradle of civilization, hold immense historical and geographical significance in the region known as Mesopotamia, located in present-day Iraq and parts of Syria and Turkey. These two mighty rivers provided the foundation upon which ancient civilizations thrived. Mesopotamia, which translates to the land between the rivers, was a fertile plain created by the Tigris and Euphrates. The regular flooding of these rivers deposited nutrient-rich silt onto the surrounding land, making it exceptionally fertile for agriculture. This abundance of fertile soil allowed early human settlements to cultivate crops, develop complex societies, and establish the world's first known cities, such as Ur and Babylon. While the Tigris and Euphrates rivers were once synonymous with abundance and prosperity, the historical record shows that the region has also witnessed significant changes over time. One of the most notable changes is the gradual drying of the Euphrates River. Historical texts and geological evidence indicate that the Euphrates River was once a more substantial and more powerful watercourse than it is today. Over centuries, factors such as climatic variations, human activities, and the construction of dams have contributed to the river's diminishing flow. Climate change, in particular, has played a role in altering rainfall patterns and intensifying evaporation rates, impacting the river's water levels. This historical context serves as a poignant backdrop to the contemporary environmental crisis facing the Euphrates River. It highlights the long-standing human dependency on this vital water source and the dramatic changes that have occurred over time. The legacy of Mesopotamia as a cradle of civilization is a reminder of the profound role that rivers play in shaping human history and the urgent need to address the challenges they face in the modern era. Is the theological interpretation of the Euphrates River crisis as a potential fulfillment of biblical prophecies, particularly from the book of Revelation, gaining traction among religious scholars and communities? The Euphrates River's condition has garnered theological significance, leading to discussions about its potential connections to biblical prophecies and the roles of angels and demons in the region. One of the theological interpretations surrounding the Euphrates River crisis is the belief that its current state may be linked to biblical prophecies, particularly those found in the book of Revelation. According to Revelation 16:12, the sixth angel poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water was dried up to prepare the way for the kings from the east. Some religious scholars and communities interpret this passage as a sign of end times events, where the drying of the Euphrates River plays a significant role. This interpretation posits that the environmental changes, such as the drying of the river, may be a manifestation of prophetic events foretelling significant global transformations. Such beliefs underline the view that the Euphrates River crisis holds spiritual and eschatological significance. The theological significance of the Euphrates River crisis extends further into discussions about angels and demons and their potential roles in the region. Some interpretations suggest that the unusual environmental phenomena in the Euphrates region are connected to spiritual struggles and cosmic conflicts. The mention of angels and demons ties into the belief that the Euphrates River is a symbolic battleground where supernatural forces are at play. According to some interpretations, the four angels bound at the Euphrates, as mentioned in Revelation 9:14 and 15, play a role in events that could lead to significant global consequences. These discussions often delve into theological debates regarding the nature of these supernatural entities and their influence on earthly events. It's important to note that these theological interpretations are subjective and may vary widely among religious traditions and scholars. They offer unique perspectives on how the environmental crisis in the Euphrates region can be understood within a spiritual and eschatological context. While not universally accepted, these interpretations highlight the diverse ways in which people seek to find meaning and significance in the face of complex and impactful events, such as environmental changes, through the lens of their faith and beliefs. Modern factors have played a pivotal role in exacerbating the environmental crisis facing the Euphrates River. One of the most prominent of these factors is climate change, which has significantly impacted Iraq. Rising temperatures in the region have intensified the challenges related to water scarcity. Iraq is experiencing climate change at an accelerated pace, with temperatures rising approximately twice as fast as the global average. This rapid warming exacerbates the problem of water scarcity by increasing evaporation rates and contributing to reduced precipitation. As the Euphrates River's water levels decrease due to these climatic shifts, it places additional stress on an already fragile ecosystem and the communities dependent on the river for their survival. Another crucial modern factor contributing to the Euphrates River crisis is the construction of dams and water management policies implemented upstream in Turkey and Syria. These actions have disrupted the natural flow of the water, affecting the quantity and quality of water downstream in Iraq. Turkey in particular has been building dams along the Euphrates to generate hydroelectric power and expand agricultural land. While these projects have economic benefits for Turkey, they have significant consequences for downstream nations like Iraq. Reduced water flow has disrupted irrigation practices, led to a decline in agricultural productivity, and created tensions over water allocation. At last, if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Meanwhile, thanks for watching.